almost 300,000 workers who were on the PUP or indeed the wage subsidy scheme during the pandemic when they were put out of work, when everything was closed down, have been told that they are still facing tax bills, many of whom will have forgotten about them, of up to $2,500. A bit of a land for people looking at the front of the paper this morning. What do you make of it?
Look, I mean, when you say it's a bit of a land, I mean, it is difficult for those people. Absolutely. But like, there was plenty of warnings when the PUP was being given out that there would be a tax bill. And what has happened is basically you can do it over 4 years. I'm not sure there's any alternative to it yet. I mean, it's a bit of a stinger. I think that the message that goes out this morning is, don't stick your head in the sand about this. Get in touch with the revenue. I think there's a way you can go onto the revenue website and it'll outline there what you need to do. I mean, you're way more exercised about this than I was.
When I saw it this morning, I thought,
you're kind of banging the populist drum on this, really, aren't you?
Here, would you stop now? Would you stop playing to your own choir there, my populist drum? If you earn 35 grand, you could own €1,350 if you were off work for 6 months. If you earn 67 grand, you could earn $2,500 if you were off work for 6 months. On top of the cost of living crisis, if you had forgotten about this, and I suspect many people have forgotten about this, that's a lot of money to come up with when you've just come up with your energy hike and your phone hike and your TV hike. And
I think you used the term in the last hour. They're hitting us with this now as well.
I don't know if I did or not, and fair play to you for remembering my every word, but
I hang on your every word, Ciara.
As you should. But here is the thing. We know that colleagues of ours on our team have been working out this morning that they, who aren't on huge wages, owe £1,200. I think it is a bit of a land. I'm glad that they can pay it over 4 years, but I wouldn't like to be in this boat myself, and I think €1,350 is a lot to be hit with, Shane Coleman, if you owe 35 grand.
What's the alternative?
I'm not saying there is an alternative. I'm saying it is a land for 300,000 people this morning. I suspect it will be, for a lot of people, just something else that will tighten that cold fear around their heart about how they're going to pay for their bills this winter. I suspect it's simply as straightforward as that.
Why, lots of texts coming through on this. Pat says, why did the government not pay out less than PUP and leave it tax-free? You can't win. Like, you just can't win. They paid €350 in the PUP, which for some people was incredibly generous. I think it was 40% of people ended up earning more under the PUP, but for a lot of people it wasn't incredibly generous. A lot of people had to take a real hit for that.
Someone else says, no objection to paying our tax bill. However, my husband at the time was working for a very busy private consultancy. They were busier than ever. My husband worked normal hours. He was given absolutely no flexibility for looking after our 2 young children who were at home due to childcare being stopped. I worked full time too, but thankfully my employer was accommodating and allowed me to work outside of core hours as long as I got my work done. My husband's greedy employers began subscribing to the wage subsidy scheme, i.e. they paid part of his wage and the taxpayer picked up the remainder of the bill. The company experienced no reduction in income, yet we're now landed with the tax bill. As I said, no issue paying our bills, just seething that employers have been able to get away with this. I know a lot of people are in the same boat. I remember when I was self-employed that how it worked for me was coming up with that tax bill every year, that lump sum. It used to give me the absolute fear. And all I am saying is I suspect that there are 300,000 people around the country this morning, some of whom will have forgotten about this altogether, who owe over €1,000 now, and it is a worry for them, and I understand
Colin Malahide says, when did Ciara join People Before Profit? This tax bill is a bill on money they earned and spent, the same as anyone who was able to work during the pandemic. They were repeatedly warned that this was taxable in the same way the wage it was replaced was. This growing Irish narrative of everyone should get something for nothing being trumpeted by Sinn Féin, Ciara and others is populist nonsense.
You sent that text, Shane Coleman. It's not Colin in Malahide. It's Shane Coleman in Phibsborough.
Just because he's incredibly sensible doesn't mean that I sent in the text. It's a fair point. Don't forget to claim your health. Really good point here. Don't forget to claim your health expenses, flat rate expenses, to reduce your tax bill. I just did my tax return for 2021. Huge amount of medical expenses for a family.
You're a hypochondriac. That's
not for me, for my hypochondriac family, not me. But no, serious point. It is absolutely worth doing. Ring your local pharmacy. All the stuff you got on subscription, all that is you get 20% credit.
And let us know.